First, cut out many pieces of paper the same size to make your tiny book. The pieces will need to be the right size so that when you fold them over, it will make two of the exact page sizes you want. Now it's time to make the page clusters of our book. These will be sewn together to create the pages. Take 4 of the pieces you've cut out. First line it up, then fold it over so that it's even, can easily rest on top of the others. Now mark down the back to mark the places where you're going to make your stitches so you can line them up. Now, after marking it on where to punch, I'll open it up to the middle page and punch directly on top of each of the markings to make sure that my stitches line up. Now that I have the holes punched in all of these, I have this thread strung on a needle, and I'm going to make a knot at the back so that I can secure it. I'll start from the outside. As you can see, I'm just going back and forth in between the holes of this first page cluster. I'll add on the next page cluster simply by sewing up onto it. Just go to the next hole that you punched, come out, go around the thread, and go back in. Basically, to add on the next page cluster, just set it on top and sew into the holes, into the first hole you punched with your needle. Basically, just keep repeating that same kettle stitch, that's what it's called, as you did before, by going out through the hole, around the stitch below it, and then back in through the same hole. This helps hold the book together, adds a little bit of thread to help strengthen it, and keeps the spine from cracking as much because the thread sort of acts like rebar in the glue. Basically, just keep repeating this process of stitching until you have all the pages of the book stitched together. Next, because we're going to be gluing it, we can just cut off the thread right here. Now, take your book and add a little bit of glue along the back of the cover. It doesn't have to be that much for a book this small. I'm just using normal wood glue. I'm not even using binding glue. Also, if you want to make your book stronger, you can take an extra piece of paper, coat it in glue, and then when you've thoroughly coated it in glue, you can stick it along the back of the binding just to make the book a little bit more durable and have something other than glue holding the whole pages together. Now, while the pages of the book are drying, I can make the cover. This is the size of one of my book's pages. I simply saved a piece of the paper I was using that I had cut out to fold over and make into the page clusters and fold it in half. I'm going to use it as a template to cut out two covers from this sort of cardboardy material that's on the back of notepads. After this, I quickly spread glue on the back of the cardboard that I was using for the covers of the books and placed on fabric so that I could cut it out and make it look nice. Now that I've cut it out of the piece of fabric, I will spread a little bit of glue around the edges and fold the fabric over on top of it. Cut the fabric off like this so that it won't create too much of a bump. Now when your book is dry, spread a little bit of glue along the back so that you can connect the end papers. These are basically the only thing that really sticks the cover of your book onto your book, so they're pretty important to have. Now the other side. After that, you'll need to attach the cover. For this step, basically just spread glue thickly all over the end paper of the book on both sides. Line up that to the back very carefully and stick it down. Let's do the same with the other side. Now that you have it attached, there's nothing to do but wait for your tiny book to dry. I'm using pieces of metal that I melted and cast from previous videos to weigh down my book.
Years later.
Finally, it's dry. Certainly looks interesting. Let's see how good it is on the inside. But that is how to make your own tiny miniature hardback book. It's really easy. This literally only took me a couple hours, and that was only because I had to wait for everything to dry and stop to do other stuff. It literally would have probably taken me only half an hour to make this whole book if I had uninterrupted time making it. That's pretty cool. So this is an easy, cheap book to make. It doesn't take a lot of time. It's tiny, it's cool. You can make it as a good present. So if you like this video, like it, and remember to subscribe for more videos like this one.